So the Mississippi River used to be largely uncontained. The state of Louisiana used to actually build land from this river to the tune of almost 1 square mile a year. After the 1927 flood, it was decided by Congress and the Corps of Engineers that levees were going to be built adjacent to the river to prevent additional riverine flooding. The levees were very successful in 2 ways. Number one, they have stopped the riverine flooding from occurring. Number two is that they have allowed the navigation channel of the Mississippi River to stay between those 2 levees. The diversions are designed to, as best we can, mimic or replicate that natural process whereby you had a very intimate relationship between the coastal wetlands in Louisiana and the river. So the diversions actually channel sediment and fresh water from the river out into those wetlands areas. It was pretty clear early on that there was not sufficient response capabilities, largely on the part of the Coast Guard and BP following the oil spill. And so the state and the parishes began looking at other types of oil spill protection measures. We found that a pre-approved response measure was using low flow fresh water into wetland areas to try to wash the oil out.
The idea was to try and use the artificial structures we have to let water flow out into the wetlands, with the idea being that this moving water would create a buffer that would help keep the oil from moving in and maybe prevent some of the oiling in the wetlands. I was kind of skeptical of this idea because knowing kind of the scale of the problem, that these diversions that we have generally are fairly modest in size compared to the Gulf of Mexico and compared to the amount of oil that was out in the Gulf. But I think that actually they help. If you look at the kind of a time sequence of the oil moving around in the Gulf of Mexico, essentially there's kind of a halo around the delta where the water coming out of the mouth of the river and the diversions that are along the river really had very little oil that moved in close to it.
There's no question that diversions can be beneficial. Again, Corps' models indicated in this case that they would be. The observations we had indicated that they definitely were. So yes, I think it is another potential use of diversions in some oil spill scenarios.